Hi, welcome to my channel Ruby Knits, Crochet y Tejido. In this video I'm going to teach you how to knit this beautiful neck warmer or cowl. It's for the set with the hat that I did last week. If you don't see the video of the hat and you wanted to make the entire set, I'm gonna leave the link here. You're gonna see an eye, you click on the eye and it will bring you to the video of the hat. It's a beautiful set, very easy to do. It's just knit some pearl. It is gorgeous and I hope you guys like it and give it a try. And here is the list of material you're gonna need to make it. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe and click on the little bell. That way you get notifications each time I upload a video. Remember, I make my videos in Spanish and English. If you receive a Spanish video and you want to see in English, go to the main page of my YouTube channel that you will find the English version in there. To make this cowl or neck warmer, I'm going to use the same type of yarn that I used last week for the hat. This is going to be for a matching set. It's Bernat Wool Up Worsted Canadian Heritage Collection. The color is brown, medium 4, 100 grams, 3.5 ounces, 80% acrylic, 20% wool. The netting needles are my Chiagu 5mm with the 14 inches cable. I always leave the link where I bought mine set, just in case you wanted to buy a set. I'm not selling it, I just showing you where I bought them. You're gonna need a row counter or a piece of paper and pen to count your rounds because of the stitch that we're gonna do, and a measurement tape, tapestry needle, and scissors. For the cowl or neck warmer, you're gonna need a little extra than one ball, because with one of these is not enough for this size. I'm gonna use a little extra from this leftover from the hat in order to complete my piece, because I don't have enough for the 1x1 rib at the end. So if you only have one of these Bernat Wool Up, 100 grams, 280 meters, is not enough for the full cowl and or neck warmer if you do the 140 stitches plus 1. So if you only have one, I recommend to do 126 plus 1. That way those 14 stitches that you remove, you will have enough at the end for the 1x1 rib. But if you have the loops and thread impeccable, and if that's the one that you're using, is with one is enough, because those have 127.5 grams. So that's more than plenty for this piece. You don't have to do anything different, just use that entire ball for your neck. Now we need to leave a tail long enough to cast on or stitches. The stitch is multiple of 14, so I'm gonna cast on 140 plus 1 to close the circumference in the second round. So this yarn is a medium 4, but it's a little bit less dense than this medium 4 from Loops and Thread Impeccable. Must be the blend of acrylic and wool, but I noticed that the pieces tend to be a little bit smaller than your regular size, but not by much, just a tiny little bit. And that's why I'm casting on an extra motif. That way the neck warmer or cowl is not too tight. But if you want yours a little smaller than mine, you can cast on 126 plus 1. I think 126 is the multiple. So I'm gonna do a wrap around here like I always do. So I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And 20 and 20, 40. 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, plus a little extra for that extra and the tail that I always like to leave to loose at the end. So I'm going to do a slip knot, grab my needle, pass it through that loop, and this is the tail, this is the working yarn, and I'm going to start casting on mine 141 stitches. You can do the short tail cast on. So I will meet you here when I have all my stitches on the needle. Something that I forgot to mention is we're going to use the chart, the same chart that I used for the hat, we're going to use for the cowl or neck warmer. The picture is in my Facebook page, Ruby Net Crochet Tejidos, or my Instagram, Ruby Net Crochet Tejido, just in case you don't see it yet. But if you've done the hat, probably you'll have it already. So now we're going to start with the border of our cowl or neck warmer. We're going to start with the border the same way that we did our hat. We're going to net the net and pass the purl without working, with the open work, just in this first row. Net the net, yarn to the front as to purl, and pass the purl without working. Yarn to the back, net, yarn to the front, pass the purl without working. Yarn to the back, net, and yarn to the front as to purl, and pass the purl without working. Like that, you're going to continue until the end, and you start with a net and you're going to finish with a net stitch. I finished that first row. Now you have to make sure that this is not twisted. It's very important that you make sure that these many stitches are not twisted, because if they're twisted, don't gonna work. And there we go. And then I'm gonna come here. Make sure again that it's not twisted. And we're gonna close the circumference now. So you're gonna pass the first stitch from the left hand needle to the right hand needle, and the last one that you did from the right hand needle, you're gonna pull it over. If you want like this, you're gonna pass it over and cut it off, and then you're gonna pull very tight this working yarn. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pass the stitch back here. I'm gonna place the marker, and I'm gonna pass the stitch back, and I already have the marker in place. So that counts as the first net without working, and then yarn to the front, and you're gonna purl your purls. Yarn to the back, and you're gonna pass the net without working as a purl from the front strand, and yarn to the front, purl, yarn to the back, pass the net, and like that you're gonna continue this second round. So if you don't want to do this type of stitch, you just do a regular 1 by 1 rib for 1.5 inches. And pass the net without working. So you start with the net without working, and you'll finish with the purl. Round. Now we're going to net the net and purl the purls. All of them. And in the next one, we're going to do a repetition of 2. I'm going to do the border exactly the same as the one for the hat. When you pass the net without working, you will see the nets a little bit more than the purl. They get a little more higher up. A better definition for the stitch, for the net stitch. So that's what you're going to do. The repetition of those two round, 2 and 3, for 1.5 inches. I finished round 3. For 4, you're going to pass the net without working, and you're going to purl the purls. Yarn to the back, pass the net, and yarn to the front, purl the purl. Yarn to the back, pass the net without working, yarn to the front, purl the purls. And like that, you're going to work for 1.5 inch. If you want 2 inches, that's fine. It can be 1.5 and a couple of more round, 1 or 2. Don't have to be exactly 1.5. The important thing is that you finish with a repetition of round 3, where you net the net and purl all your purls, okay? Here I have the border, and I did 1.5 inch, That's 4 centimeters. And now I'm gonna work the stitches, but what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna place in this video what I did for the hat until round 21, because after 21 I started talking about decrease for the hat. I don't want to go over and record what I already did. It's exactly the same. You're gonna see me working in the smaller piece is because it's the hat, and I will show you step by step how to do those stitches. After 21, I will meet you here to show you how you're gonna continue with the design of the stitch, okay? I'm gonna place a marker every 40 stitches. That way I can guide myself with the chart and it will be much easier. I already put my round counter to 0. That way I can guide myself for the round as well. And we're gonna start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 net, 2 purl, 1 net, 1 purl, 1 net, 1 purl, 1 net, 1 purl, and then we start all over again. I'm gonna do my 2 first repetition in Spanish and then the other 2 in I did my 2 first repetition in Spanish, and I'm gonna start the next 2 for English. So you're gonna start with 6 net. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yarn to the front, 2 purl. That will be a stitch 7 and 8, and net 9, a purl 10, and net 11, a purl 12, and net 13, and a purl 14. And I will place my marker. That's to count my 14 stitches. And the next one I don't need to count because I already have the markers. So you're gonna start with a repetition again. 6 net, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 2 purl, 7 and 8, and then 1 net, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Place my marker and continue with the repetition. You're gonna do 6 net, 2 purl, 1 net, 1 purl, 1 net, 1 purl, 1 net, 1 purl, and start all over again. And at the end, you're gonna finish with 1 purl before this. I finished that round marker. And now, what you do in round 1, you're gonna do in 2. What you do in 3, you will do in 4. 5 and 6, 7 and 8, the same. 9 and 10, 11 and 12. So 2 round is always the same in the entire piece. So we're gonna do exactly the same repetition of round 1 here in 2. I forgot to mark that I did 1. So you're gonna knit 6. And 6. Purl 2. Now you're gonna do 1 net, 1 purl until you get to the marker. And a purl. And like that, you're going to do the same repetition. Exactly what you did in round 1, you're going to do in now we're going to work in round 3. And this stitch, these 2 purl, it will move 1 stitch over. And then these ones where you did the net, they will be purl. And where you did purl, they will be net. It's like the seed stitch, a double seed stitch in here. So you're gonna start 3 with 5 nets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nets, and then you will do a purl, 2 net, 1 purl, 1 net, 1 purl, 1 net, 1 purl, and you finish with a net. Oops. So 5 nets, 3, 4, and 5, 1 purl, 2 nets, now 1 purl, 1 net, purl, net, purl, and a net. And that's the repetition that you're going to do again. And what we're doing here is these 2 purl, we are moving across to the other end of this net stitch. So again, you're going to start with 5 nets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. 1 purl, 2 nets, 1 and 2, and then now you start with the 1 by 1. 1 purl, 1 net, a purl, a net, a purl, and a net stitch. And like that, you're going to continue here in round 3. And remember, 3 and 4 are exactly the same. I finished number 3, and the number 4 is exactly the same as 3. You're going to do 5 nets, and 5. You're going to do 1 purl. You're going to do 2 nets. You're going to do 1 purl, 1 net, 1 purl, 1 net, 1 purl, and 1 net, and all over again. Just start with the same repetition as you did in round 3. Now we're going to work on 5, and you're going to do 4 nets. 1, 2, 3, 4 nets, 1 purl, 2 net, 1 purl, 1 net, 1 purl, 1 net, 1 purl, 1 net, and finish with a purl. So 4 net this time. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 purl, 2 nets. Now 1 purl, 1 net until the marker. 1 purl, 1 net, a purl, and a net, a purl, and a net, and a purl. You pass your marker and you do that repetition. 4 nets, 1 purl, 2 nets, 1 purl, 1 net until the marker. You pass your marker and start again with 4 nets, 1 purl, 2 net, 1 purl, 1 net until the marker, and so on. And remember, what you do in round 5 you will have to do in 6 as well. In 6 again we're going to do repetition of 5. So 4 net, 1 purl, 2 net, and then 1 purl 1 net until the marker. And you're going to continue with that repetition until the end of this round. And then in the next one, 7 and 8 is the same, and then 8 and 9, 10 and 11, okay, 7 and 8, 9 and 10, 11 and 12, and 13 and 14, sorry. Like that, you're going to continue in this round number 6. Now I'm going to work on number 7, and 7 and 8 are exactly the same. You're going to net 3. You're going to purl 1. You're going to net 4. And then now you start with 1 purl 1 net. One purl, 1 net, a purl, a net, a purl, and a net. You're going to pass your marker, you're going to net 3. You're going to purl 1. You're going to net 4. And then now you start with 1 purl, 1 net, purl, net, a purl, and a net. And like that you're going to continue, and 7 and 8 is exactly the same. And number 8 is the same as number 7. So you're going to net 3, purl 1, net 4, and then 1 purl 1 net. I think with a thicker jar, a bulky 5, this will look a really nice stitch. Maybe I will make a hat for myself to see how I look in a bulky jar. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. After this we'll do 9 and 10, and then 11 and 12, 13 and 14, and then it changed completely. You want me to here for the next Now I'm going to work on 9, and 9 you're going to do 2 net, one purl, 4 net, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 1 purl, 1 net until you get to the marker. And that's a repetition of 9 and 10. You're going to pass the marker, and again 2 net, 1 purl, 4 net, 3 and 4, and again a purl and a net until the marker. And you're going to continue like that with a repetition in those 2 rounds, 9 and 10. Again, for 10, you're going to do the repetition of 9, net 2, purl 1, net 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then purl 1, net 1 until you get to the marker. You're going to continue in number 10. Now 11, you're going to net 1, purl 1, and net 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then back again to purl 1, net 1 until the marker. Pass the marker again, net 1, purl 1, net 6, and 6, and purl 1, net 1 till the marker. Pass your marker and do the same repetition, and the stitches start to take form now. Again, a net, a purl, and this is in round 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Purl, net, purl, net, purl, and net. You pass the marker and do the same repetition. So we had to do 13 and 14, and we done this section of the stitch and start the next one from 15. Now 13 and 14 is the last to round with this stitch. You're going to start with 1 purl, 6 net, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then you go back to 1 purl, 1 net, 1 purl, 1 net until you get to the marker. Purl, net, purl, net, and a purl. Pass the marker again. You're going to start with a purl, 6 net. Okay, notice the paper. That's the way you guys can see the. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then 1 purl, 1 net until you get to the marker, and so on. And what you do in this one, you will do in the next one, and 14, and then we'll change completely a stitch and one at the side. So it will be a little bit easier. Like that. Again, we're going to do the repetition of 13 here and 14. And you're going to purl 1. You're going to knit 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now you do 1 purl, 1 knit. And that is the last repetition of this stitch. Finish with the purl and start with the purl. So I'll meet you here for round 15. I finished 14. Now 15 to 28 is really easy because all these 7 stitches at the beginning, they are purl all around. And in the other side will be knits, but with that purl going across, exactly the same as we did in this side. So you're going to start with 7 purl all around, and then in here is where you have to pay a little more attention because that purl going across. So you're going to start with 6 net, 1 purl. And 16 again, the 7 purl, 6 net, 1 purl. And then when you start changing here in 17, there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 net, 1 purl, 1 net, and so on. So you're going to start with 7 purl stitches. Six and 7. Now you're going to do 6 net, and the one before the marker is your purl. So it's a really easy round. And 6, and then the last one, a purl stitch. Pass your marker, and again 7 purl. Six and 7, 6 net, and a purl. And like that you're going to continue all the way to the end. It will be the same repetition in round 16. For 16, again you're going to purl those 7 stitches, and then all the round will be the same. You're going to start with your 7 purl, and then you will do your net, and the last one a purl. So this other half will be a little bit faster because you don't have to be counting as much. So you're going to do your 6 net, and the last one a purl. And then in the next one is where we just do 5 net, 1 purl, 1 net, and so on, all the way up. In round 17, you're going to do again 7 purl. You see, they stay the same. But now you're going to do 5 net. And 5, you're going to do 1 purl and 1 net. And you're going to repeat this over and over until the end of this round and in round 18. I don't want to record round 18 because it's exactly the same. It's very easy what we're doing now. So you're gonna do 7 pearls, and 7, 5 nets, one pearl, 1 net, and that's the repetition for 17. Now we're gonna work in 19 and 20. They're both exactly the same. You're gonna purl 7, net 4, purl 1, net 2. So purl 7, three, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You're gonna knit 4, 2, 3, and 4, purl 1, and knit 2. And that's the repetition that you're gonna do in 19 and 20. So they're both exactly the same. You pass your marker, and you're gonna purl 7 stitches. And 7. You're gonna knit 4, you're gonna purl 1, and you're gonna knit 2. So that is 19 and 20, and I will meet you here for 21 and 22. In 21, you're gonna purl your 7 stitches, three, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then remember, 21 and 22 are the same. You're gonna knit 3, you're gonna purl 1, and you're gonna knit 3. And like that is what you're gonna do in 21 and in 22. You're gonna purl 7, 5, 6, and 7. You're gonna knit 3, you're gonna purl 1, and you're gonna knit 3. And like that you're gonna finish 21 and work on 22. And I will meet you here for 23. Now I'm gonna work on 23. 23 and 24 are exactly the same. So you're gonna purl your 7 stitches. And 7. You're gonna knit 2, 1, and 2. You're gonna purl 1, and you're gonna knit 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm gonna pass my marker. I'm gonna purl 7, 7, net 2, purl 1, and net 4. After that, you're going to do the same repetition in row 24. After that, I will meet you here to work on 25. 25 and 26 are the same, and then 27 and 28, and then you will start with a repetition of round 1. I'm gonna work in round 25 and 26 are exactly the same. So you're gonna purl 7, net 1, purl 1, net 5 stitches. So you're gonna start with your 7 pearls. So it's a very easy pattern for this stitch. It's a really nice texture to your work, but it's very easy. And 7, you're gonna net 1, you're gonna purl 1, and you're gonna net the rest stitches before the marker. There are 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm gonna pass my marker. Again, purl 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You're gonna net 1, you're gonna purl 1, and net 5. So that repetition you're gonna do in this round 25 and in 26, and I will meet you here for round 27 and 28, and that's it. You'll start with repetition of 1. Now I'm gonna work on 27 and 28. They're both exactly the same. You're gonna purl 8 and net 6. Very easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 purl, and the last 6 stitches you will net them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Pass your marker, purl 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 6 net. Four, 5, and 6, and like that you're gonna do round 27 and 28, and that way you will finish 2 repetitions of the design, or half and half, 1 complete. Once you finish those 28 round, you will go back to round 1 and do one more time those 28 round repetition. So you go back to round 1. If you're not using the chart, you'll go back to the video where I start with the round 1, that is 6 net, 2 purl, 1 net, 1 purl, 1 net, 1 purl, 1 net, 1 purl, and round 2 is exactly the same, and so on. Remember, what you do in the odd number round, you'll do in the even rounds. So do those 28. Once you've done those 28 round one more time, you will have the length for your cowl or neck warmer before we do the little bit of border at the end. So I will meet you here when I do one more time that 28 round. Here I have the length that I want before the rib border. I did 2 full motifs of the design and it looks absolutely gorgeous. This is what I have left from the first ball of yarn. So for the border, I will need to use some of this leftover from the hat. I'm gonna work until I have just a little tail, and then I will start with the other one. If you want this longer, because I know some of you will like maybe this longer, you can do this 14 round repetition in here, and it will look gorgeous. Finish your piece, and here the same way that you start, it will look fine. I usually do mine for 11 to 11.5 inches. That's the length that I like for mine. So that's what I'm going to do for this one. I'm going to start with the 1x1 rib. Remember, the 1x1 rib that I did here was the repetition of 2 and 3. But I'm going to start with repetition of 3. I'm going to net the net and purl the pearls. And then I will start then in the second one, repetition of 2 from here. That will be you pass the net without working and purl the pearl, and you will do those repetitions. I work here for 9 rounds, so I will do 7 rounds of that, and then the last 2 I will do the super elastic bind off. That will be you net the net and pass the pearl without working, net the net, pass the pearl without working, and in the last one you will pass the net and purl the pearl. After that you will bind off with a tapestry needle and your yarn. If you don't like to do the bind off, it's fine. You can do your rounds and finish with a repetition of 3 and bind off with your needles, okay? Don't do that super elastic bind off. So I will work on those 7 rounds of 1x1 rib, and I will meet you here for the last 2 rounds. I absolutely love the color and the stitch in this piece. Before I change to the new yarn, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna trap that new one for a few stitches, like when you work Fair Isle, because I'm working in the 1x1 rib and I don't want a visible knot in this part of my piece, so I will trap the strand for quite a few stitches, and then I will change to the new yarn and I will trap the tail of the old one exactly the same way, and later on I just have to secure them and lose the little bit of tails. I finished those 7 rounds. Now I'm gonna work an 8. Pass this one. And you're gonna net the nets. Yarn to the front, pass the purl without working. Yarn to the back, net, yarn to the front, pass the purl without working. Yarn to the back, net, and yarn to the front, pass the purl without working. And like that you're gonna do this round, and I will meet you here for round number 9. I finished round 8. And I pass the last purl without working, and then I start a little piece in Spanish. So you're gonna start 9. It's like repetition of round 2 that we did of the 1 by 1 rib. You're gonna pass the net without working, and yarn to the front, and you're gonna purl your purl. Yarn to the back, pass the net without working, yarn to the front, purl your purl. And remember, when you pass the net, you pass it through the front strand, like so, and purl your purl. After we finish this round, we're going to bind off with our tapestry needle. I finished that last round. Now I'm going to leave a tail long enough to bind off the stitches with the tapestry needle. I decided, since this is a dark color, you don't want to see me binding off with my tapestry needle. I'm going to place here the clip where I bind off for this one. It's exactly the same bind off. And look how nice this look, nice and round. It's like a round border. So it will be easier for you to see me what I do for this one. I did this one 2 weeks ago. It's a gorgeous piece. So remember, you have to leave extra tail, because if it's too short, you will have a knot in here. If that knot go, the entire piece will go. So it's better to, even if it's a little bit of work, be pulling the tail. It's much better than not to have enough of the yarn. So leave extra, and it will be much easier at the end for you. So I'm gonna bind off mine, and I will show you the end result. Bind off with our tapestry needle. So you're gonna come here and you pass that net from the back to the front in that front strand, and then that purl from the front to the back. I know I have a lot of extra tail, but it's in the long run is much better that way. So let me pass it here and pass the needle to the back. So now you're gonna grab the net and you do this to your net. You have the right leg and the left leg. So you're gonna grab the left leg and pass it through, and the right leg of the net, those two. And you're gonna pull all your yarn through, and don't pull too tight, just like that. Now you're gonna do the purl, and if you look at your purl, you had that leg, and then you're gonna see, and when you pull it, it's the same that pull that strand in between, and then you're gonna pass the purl to the back. And you cast off that purl. Now you come to the front. You see you have the two strands. Usually the left leg is sideways in here. You grab that left leg like that, and that one in here, those two together, and pass the yarn through. Now you go and grab the purl, and when you grab the purl, you see it's that one in here, but you have to grab it from the inside out, and when you pull, you see it's the same strand that the one in the center, and then you pass, like this one is a netting needle, you're gonna pass to the back like that, like you're gonna net, but you pass it through. And you remove that purl, and now you're gonna do the net in the front again. You grab that leg and this one. And that's how you're going to continue working and cast off or bind off your stitches. And it'll give a really nice finish to the border of your cowl. A more round edge. This is the leftover from the ball from the hat. that I used to finish here in the border of the neck warmer or cowl. And this is the end result. And it looks amazing. I absolutely love this stitch. And like this is the set. It's an absolutely gorgeous set, perfect for a gift or just for you to enjoy. I hope you guys like it and give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you are not already a subscriber. And if you make any of my design and you want to send me some pictures, you can do it through my Facebook page, Ruby Knits, Crochet y Tejido, or my Instagram, Ruby Knit Crochet y Tejidos. Please share my video with friends and family, that way you help me grow here on YouTube. I wish you have a beautiful day. Bye.